Welcome, everybody. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning. Welcome to Rev and Rant. I'm one of the hosts. I'm DJ Carb.
And I'm DJ Clutch. It's good to be here this morning. I gotta say, it's nice weather out today.
It is some nice weather. It's been very nice weather. It's sort of cooling off a little bit from how it was. It was brutal last week. This week it seems to be doing a little bit better, which is good. Always good to hear.
Now, before we get started here, I wanted to give everyone a chance to get our phone number to call in with any questions they have, or even get our Instagram handle so they can message our Instagram and just send us messages saying, "Hey, I have a question." Blah blah blah.
We welcome any type of question you have. No such thing as a stupid question. We're trying to educate people about cars and their vehicles in general.
Exactly.
So call in. Noah over here will be reading the Instagram in a second, but to call in, it is going to be 714-516-6187. That's 714-516-6187. And we'll say that a couple times, I guess, throughout this.
Yeah, we'll say it a couple times.
Episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want to Instagram?
Oh, yeah. And our Instagram, our handle, it is going to be all lowercase Rev, the letter N, Rant, _radio.
Yeah. And text there because we're going to be going. I think this weekend is not quarantine cruises. It's cruising for a cure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure at the OC Fairgrounds, which is the largest one-day car show in the world. I'm pretty sure it's a really cool place.
Yeah,
and it's at OC Fairgrounds. It has like this inside track where when you go there, you park your car, you can hang out, chill with friends, and then you can just start driving around the place, which is a really cool feature that not a lot of other places have. That also makes it fun to see a lot of these cars driving and in action, and that cultivates a really cool sort of culture within that, and that's happening this weekend. So I think if we want to go there, we're going to ask some questions. So you guys need to ask some questions on our Instagram that we're going to go start interviewing people. So
it'll either be one of us or both of us going. I mean, you guys can text me the questions through our Instagram, and then we'll ask the car community for you. We'll just maybe if you have time, just pop out to your local car show and just ask them as well.
Yeah, people are usually pretty open to talking about their car.
Exactly.
I know I never have said no to a question if I've ever been showing at a car show or even just on the street.
Exactly.
I try to be, but
I always
it's
get those people pulling up next to you. What year is it?
Oh yeah, I've gotten some interesting. Like last night, the guy wasn't far off, 65. That's fine. We were driving around. This guy asked if it's a 65, and I'm not. It's not odd for someone to ask that, but I've gotten some like, is that an 87? Does it look like an 87?
And then
like,
I get the same thing. And
sorta.
Someone came up to me, he's like, "Oh, is that a 64?" I'm like, "You couldn't be more off. This is post smog, buddy."
Yeah. But I know. Well, I can sort of understand Beetle a little bit just because
They all look the same.
I can't tell the difference of generations. But trucks, I feel like, have such a specific sort of design to them per year, and that really just sort of influences like mine, but right before the facelift, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but I know, Charlie, you said some input about race. When is it? This weekend?
It happened last weekend. Unfortunately, we missed it. It's been a long dream for me as a car lover to go there. I think it's like the car guys sort of. I'm blanking
like
on the word right now. They're Haven. Yeah, they're Haven, I guess. That and Lamar are two trips that everyone, it's their voyage that everyone needs to do who loves cars. Goodwood Revival happened this weekend.
Yeah, Goodwood.
And for those listening that don't happen to know what Goodwood Revival is, it is a race where people drive classic cars from all over the world. And they race it like, they're swapping paint. They're actually like, there's a lot of winners of IMSA, of WEC, of F1, I think at some point. Jackie Stewart, which is one of the best F1 drivers in history, is one of the main sponsors there. He always has a huge presence. They have a classic formula race that they do. Everybody who's there dresses actually in theme period. It's really cool. It's a really fun one to see.
So like,
And
say
they
if
have a
they're
bunch of
driving a
tips.
30s car, they're driving a bunch of like, they're going to be like with the big old goggles and leather.
Yeah, but not even just people that are driving cars. If you attend, it's
they're even.
If you look at pictures of the crowd, which you can pull up, everybody is in themed attire from one of the years. So there's people all the way from like the 20s, 30s. They'll have like flappers that you'll see all the way up to like 70s and I think 80s, but I think it's more like 50s, 60s centralized. Yeah. And there's a lot of guys in like uniforms and World War II uniforms.
Yeah, I'm sure
around.
There's like the classic like, oh yeah, the bad boy pulling up in a leather jacket, smoking a cigarette with greased up hair, slicked back hair.
And they got a lot of bikes too.
Oh really?
They have a huge collection of bikes actually. I was really surprised to see
Goodwood.
Goodwood, and that's in England, which I'm really surprised about because usually when you think of like Harley Davidsons, when you think of the early motorcycling, you think of L.A. is what I can think of. San Francisco, like California, maybe the South at some point, but it wasn't as big until later.
I guess
sort of modern thing.
I guess if you think about like what type of bikes were they there? Were they more Harleys or they like Triumphs, BSAs, all that?
Mix of everything. I actually didn't expect to see as many Harleys as I did, but you can stream the races, so they're still online on YouTube if you want to watch any of them. Really good races to watch, and you'll definitely be seeing them, I guess, in if you watch a couple of them and a couple of the really the larger races, you'll see they get played over and over and over on the Instagram of Goodwood, which is cool to see. So no, but they're definitely a fun one to check out. Harleys are big there, like I said, but the big I mean not just Triumphs as well, but the early motorcycles. I didn't know that I wouldn't consider them to be a big thing either. Yeah, but like, it's also very American inspired.
Yeah, because the Harley, I would think like a lot of British people, it's like, oh yeah, it's an American thing. Just like we don't care for American cars, except for the occasional one or two of them. But like
Ford Cortina.
I mean,
Lotus Cortina.
I would count that. That's an American brand,
but a British car because they're not sold here.
They're not.
They're sold in Mexico. You can find they're big in apparently in racing in Mexico. They're huge, and I know that
the Ford Cortina,
which is insane. I mean, it's just a cheap. It's a smaller, cheaper car, so that's why they were so big in England. Yeah. But also here we love our big, huge.
American, the V8
American
was the standard. The V8, the gas guzzling V8,
and it's not a gas guzzling V8. So actually, do you know who raced a Ford Cortina in?
I'm sure
Mexico,
you'll tell me.
South America.
Who?
In Colombia, Pablo Escobar
was
huge into racing. He loved racing cars, so he was known for like racing friends, family, even before. In Ford Cortinas, which is kind of a cool sort of thing to talk about. Nobody really knows that, and I saw on...
How do you even come across this information?
I was actually watching, they had a scene about it in Narcos, the TV series.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's it. Like, it was a very brief, maybe 30 seconds where they're in cars, and I looked it up because I'm sure he owned a bunch of cars, and also in Top Gear, I think they talked about it too for a second. But he owned a bunch of cars because he's, one of the largest... richest people ever at the time.
Yes.
And he was really like, before the whole drug thing, he was into racing.
Yeah.
And then even during that, he would race, but it wasn't a big, like, it wasn't professional, but he was really passionate about it, which is kind of cool because you never think of someone like that as someone that's into racing as much as he is, so.
I would never have expected it, honestly.
No, that's what I'm saying. Neither have I. But I understand completely why they're so big in England and why people love them there. Oh, yeah. So that's a cool thing to see.
The roads are so much smaller there. You've been there, I'm sure. So like
and they have this thing where there's these two sort of pylons?
Sure.
Sort of standing up, and it's to control speed, which is kind of interesting that they do this. Huh? It's just big enough for like a regular sized car to go through.
Oh, yeah.
Just for the mirrors.
Yep. I remember that.
But everybody's slowing down because a lot of people aren't confident. Yeah. But actually, a family friend that we stay with, she's driving and she just goes through them because she's like, I'm either gonna hit it or I'm not. It doesn't matter if I'm going 20 miles an hour or, 2.
And then it's like, I remember seeing those types of videos and like there was one of those. I think actually the Top Gear crew tried to go through it and they're driving these big old like Range Rovers because like those are their camera cars. And even with the mirrors folded in, they were almost scraping on either side. And then Jeremy, Richard, and James, all in their tiny little cars, just speed right through.
But that's one thing that's insane. Have you heard about the new changes to London's laws? Speaking of that,
no.
They have a new law that came into effect, I think, a couple of years ago, because I was just there in January, and it already came into effect like the year before. So I think 23, maybe early 24, something like that. Yeah. The entire city of London has a 20 mile per hour, and they use miles. They don't use kilometers, which is about everything's kilometers except all the street signs are. I looked at it, and they seem pretty low for kilometers. I asked, no, they're miles, so they still use miles per hour in all their cars. I guess they invented it. They just don't want to change it yet. But everybody in their schools learns kilometers. They don't learn miles.
Oh my god.
So, but it's all miles per hour. So it's 20 mile per hour limit to reduce smog, and then there's emissions taxes over that in London, high congestion taxes, and if you get
the California taxes were bad.
I know. I thought California was bad to drive. England's 10 times worse. And if you're caught in the middle of an intersection when the light turns red, if you're one of those guys that goes when it's green and in heavy traffic and blocks it for everyone, cameras are all over the place at almost every single light, and they take a picture of your license, and you have to go back and for every X amount of points, you have to go back and relearn how to drive. You have to go back to driver's ed, which is kind of
that's
it's
kind of
little
funny.
It's funny, but at the same time, it's such a historic place for racing.
Yeah.
You've got, Brands Hatch, you've got Silverstone, you've got, countless, Goodwood especially, that are there, that it's interesting to think of when you think of,
they drive so slow.
Yeah. And even outside, it's not like Italy or one of the places.
In Italy, you'll get a friggin' ticket for going too slow. You're driving a Lamborghini. Why are you going only 50 miles an hour? Go, come on, speed.
They'll pull you over to go faster.
I shouldn't be able to catch you.
Yeah.
Go. What is your problem?
Why? No, it's a fun place to drive because everybody there, the second that you cross the border from France, people drive, it depends where.
Yeah.
But people can drive fast. People also sort of tend to, kind of like America, they stay within X amount with a speed limit. They're not insane. And then you cross the border into Italy or Spain as well, I've noticed. And it's just flooring it. Every car is passing you. It's a really interesting sort of place.
It's you're flooring it, and then people are still passing.
Exactly.
It's like they have throttle past the throttle.
Exactly. It's an interesting place, and everybody's driving cars like that. But back to Goodwood just for 1 second. If anyone listening wants to watch it on YouTube, great place, great race to watch. Like I said, a lot of really experienced drivers, a lot of the older drivers that want to still be in their cars from the 70s, 60s that are still going after it. And a lot of I think Jackie Stewart, his wife, died from Alzheimer's, or she had Alzheimer's when she died. And he started a lot of the proceeds from Goodwood and their other stuff, they're partnered with him, and they donated it to research for Alzheimer's, which is sort of a good cause. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of beautiful cars there, and it's a cool place.
Cars for a cause. I just think that's a beautiful thing. Just like a car community supporting what they believe in.
That's like this weekend, Cruising for a Cure.
Yes, exactly.
It's all 100% of profits from Cruising for a Cure go to research for lymphoma and leukemia.
Yep.
So it's pretty great. And there's a lot of people that show up there for that. And there's a lot of really good donations because the people that started it, car lovers that just decided, I think they had, I forget, I think they had leukemia. And when they were getting treated, they're like, let's start getting people around and rallying to try and find a cure for that because it affects a lot more people than you think.
It does.
So,
yeah. I know. Well, I know also we wanted to talk a little bit about just I know there's people interested in classics, but they're like, hey, we don't know what to buy. We don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And
I'd say that they're in the right place because both you and I have completely different tastes in classics for the most part.
I love American cars. Don't get me wrong. I love my little German Ford pot.
No, but that's what I'm saying is that I can't do with Beetles. In all honesty, VW has never been something that's really piqued my interest.
Oh yeah.
In all honesty, but I like other European cars.
Yeah.
And I like the American Muscle. That's what I learned on.
Yeah.
That's what my mentor sort of taught me on.
Those are like it's American V8s versus like the old British V8s. They're so much easier.
And they're really easy. And now I'm driving a car. My first project car was an '81 Saab.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that was my intro to sort of. I was 16 in a car club in my high school, and we kept it. I'm sure my mom loved it. We kept it in our front yard, and it just sat there. And then COVID hit after, but it was. Yeah, I guess we're getting a call right now. Hold on, if you want to talk real quick, I'm going to go.
But anyway, so we were basically going to be talking about like some cheaper and like easier cars to start out with, you know. So we can. Both of us own fairly common cars back in the day. My car was like actually one of the most mass-produced. It's an old Beetle. I mean, who doesn't love a Beetle?
So we got a question real quick from a caller. Hello there, caller. You're on the air with Rev and Rant. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, my name's Julie. I'm from Culver City, and this sort of goes along with what you're talking about right now. I have two questions. One, how do you feel about the rise of EVs versus traditional gas-powered cars?
Yes.
And I also wondered if you guys could both tell me what you think is the most underrated car on the road today.
EVs, we'll talk about EVs a little later, I think. We'll answer the classic one first, just because I got something right on my mind real quick. We'll do it 2 and then 1. Underrated car, I really have been saying this for a while, that Chevy Biscayne.
Yeah.
It's a dead ringer for the Chevy Bel Air. And if you look at it, most, like 90% of people, even if they're a car guy and they don't understand it, like, it looks like a Bel Air.
Yeah.
Just from the side, you can tell it has a little bit of work done to it. It's less than like half the price of a Bel Air. It looks great, and this was their luxury car at the time because it meant so much to buy a car in the 50s that people were afraid of buying a Cadillac. This was Chevy's answer because people would feel so bad about themselves that they bought a Cadillac because it meant so much to the regular American consumer that even if they had the money, they wouldn't buy it because they would just feel guilty. So that's the thing that, and then there's a couple others.
The one that came to mind for me was, of course, I know there's a couple driving around Orange here in Orange.
Yeah.
There's the Datsun 240Z Fairlady. I gotta say, I
You're a
love
Datsun
those cars.
fan?
I mean, you look at the types of cars I drive, and
that's true. Well,
I mean, you gotta.
They're good. I do say they look good for. I mean, I'm not big into Japanese cars at all.
No, that's like the only one I like. I mean, but I didn't. Also, back to you. Julie.
Julie.
Yeah, Julie.
Yeah.
Back to you. I wanted to ask.
Underrated. I meant underrated car, like driving on the road.
Yeah.
Like modern
I was about to ask you.
I am looking at the Chevy Biscayne, and it does look beautiful.
I was about to ask you that. I was about to come back and say, hey, so did you mean old car or new car? Because we could talk about old cars all day.
I love the old car, but I'm just curious about the new cars.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite?
Favorite new car?
I am slightly biased, but that's only because I've driven one, and I think I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, and I know my family's going to be laughing their heads off just because of what I'm about to say. I really like, and please don't yell at me for this, the 2022 or anything after the facelift models of the Chrysler Pacifica vans. Yes, the all-wheel drive ones specifically. Yes, the ones that either the all-wheel drive, the hybrid ones have problems out the ass, though. I would not recommend you get a hybrid one.
Yeah, hybrids were okay, but I will say when I was in Alabama, we had a Chrysler Pacifica for the race team. The team had a Chrysler Pacifica rental car.
Oh yeah,
and within the first day, they pulled into the pits, whatever, going fine, and they had to move it, and the e-brake was stuck on. And they just thought that it was such a terrible. It wasn't even the hybrid; it was the regular. They just thought it handled terribly because they were like flooring it on the freeway, and they were barely getting to 65. So we're going, okay.
So the e-brake was probably just stuck on. They were just
e-brake was stuck on, and they couldn't really. It was an electronic e-brake, so they just assumed it would go off, and anything they tried wouldn't get it off. So they figured out they had to go online and find out that there was a mechanic mode that they go in.
Yeah.
And and through that they can. But
I can't talk to that. I've never had that happen. I mean,
it was an interesting problem to say. But for cars that are driving around, and I assume you don't mean like cars that are really nice,
like the sporty
sport cars, because I'd say Mustang with that. But one of the underrated cars I think is the Bronco.
The Ford Broncos.
Yeah, I really like the new Broncos.
Which one do you think, the sport or the regular?
The sport, because it's a stick shift. That's the reason why I'm really, I think they're really cool. They're a stick shift. They're a fun sort of better alternative than a Jeep.
Yes, I completely agree. With Jeep's build quality just going down, 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 it's and
they look good too.
Wonderful.
The Broncos, I'm not gonna deny they've done the revival the right way for cars, because a lot of car companies like Ford is now doing it for whatever. They had a great Bronco sales went through the roof. It was a great launch. They just had a gas powered car, like timeless classic. And they replaced that with another gas-powered stick-shift car, and people loved it.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to do like the Ford Torino, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think. And they're trying to revive that, but they're doing it electric.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you just make a new car if you're doing it electric? Then ruin a great car name just because you can't sell EVs regularly. That's sort of the problem. But I'd say. Yeah, I'd definitely say Bronco right now for.
Yeah, and I'm gonna stick with my Chrysler Pacifica, specifically the ones with all-wheel drive are very helpful, because I was driving through northern Michigan, and it was full on blizzard, like ice over everything, like couldn't see the road, and I remember I was trying to start from a dead stop, and like. In our old car, it was just a front-wheel drive, and it would have just spun tires. This one actually moved, and like we weren't stuck on the ice.
Yeah,
it was like a lake of ice, like for 100 feet, and it was just like, it was supposed to be a parking lot, but it was just 100 feet of ice, and we would not have been able to move in our old car.
Yeah,
we would have been stuck there.
Wow.
But yes, those for us, those are our two top cars on the road today. I mean, I'm slightly biased, and I don't know if you are, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually never driven the new Broncos, but I just like the way, I like their concept, like the way they look. They look pretty cool. They're a good one.
Yes,
but I'd stay away. I don't know. I think that Toyota now, modern Toyotas are kind of going downhill a little bit.
They've gone down in build quality. You've seen how many recalls they've been having.
Yeah, but at the same time, I went to a Ford dealership, and they were really unprofessional when I was in there.
Yeah.
And the guy didn't know anything when we were checking out cars.
It's also
and
like...
I was telling him information about the car. He didn't know about it. So, all right, this dude doesn't know.
Yeah.
But does that answer your question?
Yes. What about my EV question? Are you not getting to that?
The EV question. So basically... we have a little diagram of what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the day, and EV is actually going to be coming up. Like we're going to be talking about the EV market and talking about like just problems or anything like that with the EV market, and that'll be coming up in a couple minutes. I think.
So we're going to talk about that because there's been a lot of stuff with the EV market recently.
Yeah.
So.
There has been a lot of developments.
Been a lot of developments. Well, thank you so much for calling.
Hold on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Hope we were able to answer at least one of your questions, and the second one, let's hope to answer it in a second here.
Yeah.
But we'll let you go for the moment. But thank you so much for calling.
That was Julie, and she brought up some good questions. She I gotta say, I've never really thought about new cars as much. But then, it's because to me, most new cars on the road today, they look fairly similar to each other. If I'm you could roll up next to a Toyota Camry and then one of the older Chevy Cruzes and be on the side of them and be like, okay, maybe I see the difference, kind of.
Yeah.
But then it's not a Chevy Cruze. What am I thinking of? Impala, one of the older Impalas.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, like the 2010 sort of that generation. They look.
And then how the Honda Accord, the new Honda Accords as well.
Yeah, they're basically the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just different. There's a lot of stuff that you realize. I don't know. When I first, the more you learn about cars, the more you'll realize and understand that a lot of it is just is just other brands putting badges and branding on like a different. It could be a Ford, could be a Chevy. Doesn't matter what. It's could be European, could be American, and they're just like, oh, this car works. Let's put a badge on it and just make it ours.
Oh yeah, like you look at like the old Dodge Caravans, and then you look Chrysler Town and Country, same exact car, and then Volkswagen tried to get in on it with the what do they call that car? It's not the Touareg. That's a different car. That's a really good car in my opinion. But
with the Ford,
the van, and it's a Volkswagen van. They weren't super popular. It's a Volkswagen van that is based off of the Chrysler Town and Country. Can't remember what it's called.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen them before. That looks like
they
exactly
look almost
like it. They look
from the outside they look a little different. From the inside they're identical.
Yeah,
exactly the same.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know. I'm blanking on the name. I've seen them on the road. They're an interesting. They're not like on the road, but I'll see them parked.
Yeah,
on the side of the road.
On the side of the road.
On the side of the road, I'll see them parked.
That shows
they're always the ones flat tires. Like
that shows you how people take care of those good old Pentastars.
I know. So,
but anyway,
well, I guess you want to start talking about EVs.
Yeah, we were gonna go into the EV market for a little bit. I mean, I know. The one that's the company that's been leading for the longest time has always been Tesla.
Yeah.
And I know Tesla's lost a lot of sales. Like
Tesla,
it's an insane amount of sales.
Tesla, they've lost a lot. The political thing has been big for them, especially because the type of people that tend to be more into the electric car thing tend to be more left-leaning.
Yeah.
And they kind of alienated their entire base with that, which seems interesting to me. And
then the people who aren't into them tend to be more right wing,
and they just wouldn't buy them.
Yeah,
either.
they were like, the fuck. So then Tesla's just going way down in market prices.
I have disliked Tesla before it was cool to dislike Tesla.
Yeah,
I have not liked electric cars. Forever.
I didn't like Tesla because of how boring and simple they were on the inside. Like I was in an Uber. Yeah. Like my first time ever coming here. And of course, it was a Tesla. And I'm like, man, in Chicago it would not be a Tesla. It'd be something like a Hyundai or
Uber's helping them out.
Helping out Tesla, really.
Or helping out drivers, they pay for
they pay extra for EVs or something.
Yeah,
they do.
But also they help if you're like a big long-term, like if that's your full-time job.
Yep.
Apparently it could be wrong, so if anybody listening wants to correct me on this, and it wants to correct us on anything we say, by the way,
please call in. Please call in.
By the way, I'll read that number again in case you missed it in the beginning. The number is 714-516-6187. That's 714-516-6187. Call with any questions you may have.
Yeah, any questions if you want to correct us either.
Yeah, if you want to correct us. But Where was I? I lost
we were talking about Tesla and how
Tesla, their build quality is terrible.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about this yesterday. You were telling me about some dude pulled out rivets or something.
I have a friend of mine, and he calls me up on must have been Friday. I just got off work, so Friday he calls me up in the middle of the day. He goes, "Hey Charlie, you know about cars, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You could help me out?" And I was thinking, all right, sure. What's the issue? And he sends me a picture, and it's a Tesla, and they front bumpers off. I'm like, oh god. And I was like, dude, I have no idea about Tesla. They seem that this guy was driving his girlfriend's Tesla.
Yep.
And he floors it and hits like one of these metal support beams in the garage. And it wasn't even he was from park.
Oh wait.
It was like he was backing out, and he took the entire bumper off.
Wait, the metal support beam, like in parking garages,
in a parking garage, Anderson? Like here in Anderson,
but
that are like on the edge of the parking, on the edge of the space.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yep.
He hit one of those.
Oh my god!
So, and it took the entire front bumper of this Tesla off, which I was like, this is insane.
How?
By the way, how do you wreck a Tesla? They drive themselves. Like I can't.
Yeah, how do you get in a crash in a Tesla? They drive themselves for a reason.
It seems a bit, it seems a little bit odd that you could even crash a Tesla.
Yeah, it's like,
to me, I was giving him, I was not making fun, teasing in good in good fun. But I was like, how did you crash one of these?
So
my car.
My theory is either Tesla and self-driving cars coming around has brought upon us bad drivers, or which I also think it's a mix of both. Self-driving is not ready and won't be for a long time.
They're not.
People think, oh yeah, self-driving, it'll drive itself and it'll stop for a baby walking across the road. No, it won't.
It won't at all. And the one video that people have about it that they use is this in, I think it's Italy. There was a Tesla driving in, I'm pretty sure Rome, could be wrong, and a toddler falls into the street and it swerves. And everyone's like, oh, it's self-driving. No, it was the driver who saw that happen and just yanked the wheel to the side and crashed the car intentionally. But it's always, if you're on the freeway, I've seen, and I guess because I go between L.A. and Orange County, so it's always a very Tesla-heavy road.
Very Tesla-heavy, yes.
But it's always in, like, crashes or on the side of the road, always with at least one or if not two Teslas involved. And they're broken. They're always the ones that are just sitting there broken down with their hazards on that you can't tell why they're, what happened. They're just so, but even when I was working on it, so I was helping my buddy out. He crashed his girlfriend's car.
Yep.
It happens. If I were to do, I'd say in most cars, in classics at least, if I were to do that and back out in sort of the way that he did, you might need a new bumper. I'd say maybe
that's if you care.
But even that's if you care. Like it would dent the bumper definitely, but I don't think. I really was thinking about it. I think in the truck or even in your Beetle or in a Mustang, maybe even in a Classic, it would dent the bumper. Yeah. But you could probably just take a hammer and a metal rod and just hit it out.
I think I think there used to be like, so I back in Michigan where I would work on Beetles, there was like this one Beetle that had a bumper that was dented like up and in. It was kind of weird. I literally took my hand and bent it back. Yeah. It was that easy. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah. I mean, and when I had the Mustang, I was driving up to Santa Cruz to visit a girlfriend at the time. We have since broken up with that. Yeah. But visiting her, and I got into a car accident, and I was on the side of the road. I was in, a 2000 Mustang GT.
Yep.
It was my first car. And I rear-ended someone, was being an idiot, looked at my phone. It was my fault, 100%. And this guy's bumper just bent down. It wasn't a huge, major thing, but it was a plastic bumper. And it was on the side of the road with this car. And a tow truck pulls up to the side of the road when I'm sitting there kneeing in the bumper into place. Because, hey, do you need help wire tying that? I've just finished kneeing it, looked at it, and go, nope, good.
Nope, good.
Drive off. But this Tesla, you couldn't do that.
Nope.
I was working on it, and this thing, it pulls out the little push pins. I hate that cars do that now.
The plastic push pins to keep on body panels. I can't stand it. The body panel. I don't know what is wrong with a machine screw or a bolt. Like, it's just put a little threaded something on there. Make it not plastic.
Well, it had three. It had three very small.
Oh my god!
Like machine screws that went in.
It's cheaper.
But what happened was when he hit the metal beam or the concrete beam, he pulled them out. So I was able to get two of them. We were having a hard time getting them in, so I just took my impact and drove it up. Okay, sure, we'll hold it. I mean, it wouldn't look great, but it'll keep the bumper on.
Yep.
And I took the impact and drove it up, and this thing just
snap.
The first two got in fine. The third one I could not find. For the life of me, could not find
the hole.
Anything. Yeah. The hole wasn't working, and I was like, "What is going on?" So I took a flathead, I took a Phillips head, and a small screwdriver, and realigned it. Moved it side to side, make sure I could, it was lined up. And it was. Okay. So, I tried it by hand to try and get the thread. Couldn't get the thread. And I looked. And the thread completely, when he got into this accident, one of the threads completely just stripped. It's such bad build quality that instead of just snapping the plastic or something, which would have been okay, I'm not going to lie.
Snapping the plastic is different than
But it's different than stripping the screw. I would be fine. It wouldn't have been that bad if it was just plastic snapping. Yeah. But it stripped off the screw. So you couldn't get it even back on. It's just like, oh my God. And you hear online a lot about McLaren, because their build quality isn't amazing.
No,
but they're also trying to save weight. So every little bit, like every little instant, every place where they can save money, and not money, but weight, and also maybe money too. But a lot of the times, carbon fiber is more expensive than other filler.
They're planning for the speed. They're not planning for the crash.
Yeah, so I'm fine with that if you can pull off the like sun visor, apparently, and they're pretty easy. But at the same time, who cares? You're driving a McLaren. You're going fast. You're not driving it for the luxury. But Tesla, you are, or not luxury, but you're driving it to be.
They you heard like a couple months ago they stripped them of their luxury title. The U.S. government stripped Tesla of
their
their
luxury title.
It's because they finally realized, minimalist isn't luxury. Like having no speedometer in front of you is not luxury. Having no, like just having a flat dash, they're so boring. Just getting into it, it's a screen. That's it, and I'm like,
they're
so boring. There's nothing to look at. Meanwhile, like okay, so I sold this Buick Riata to my friend, and she had been driving around a Tesla.
Took a look at it last
She had been driving around a Tesla before then, and she was like, "This is so much better. I can hear the engine." And she loves hearing the engine. She's like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And then all the little buttons, and then the digital gauges. It's like really old 90s. Like you look at like the
Corvettes. Oh, those are really are cool.
Except it's a little different than the Corvettes. Like if you've ever like seen one of those old Buick Roadmasters.
Yeah.
It's like
okay, so a little different.
I mean,
the Corvettes though. It makes you think you're in the what was that 80s show? What was that 80s show where the talking car?
I remember what it is, but the car's name is Kit. I can't remember what the show is.
I forget the show. Oh my God, I'm blanking on it. But
it's not Knight Rider. No, it's something different. Yeah, you go look it up because that'll bother me and you for the next.
Yeah, it might have been. It might be Knight Rider.
Might be.
Show.
And that's. I think that was like. Whenever that show came out, it was like, oh yeah, it's like
Knight Rider, 1982.
Knight Rider,
yeah, okay, but
self-driving car, that's so cool. And then they tried to recreate that with Tesla.
Well, not even that. In the 80s, they had they modeled the Chevys, the Corvettes, after their dash. I'm sure it was modeled after that show because everyone was like, and even if you see it, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Yep.
But Tesla, I guess, it self-drives. I guess because of Kit in that show. I mean. Everybody's always sort of wanted a self-driving car for a while, but it's done so poorly.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree.
I can't get behind it. It's really it's not good. So,
but that's just like the EV market just dropped so quickly. I think it's because people realized also the Teslas are dying after 2-3 years. Like I was actually the person who now has the Buick. I was talking to and they were like, "Oh yeah, this Tesla's really old." And I'm like, "Really? What year is it?" 2018. I'm like, "What? Damn!" And then she's like, "Yeah, electric cars age much quicker than gas cars." I'm like, "That's old." Well, also, my car's a 79. What does that make me? A friggin' fossil?
Mine's a 62.
Yeah, what does that make you? Prehistoric.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm a rock, I guess. At this point, a piece of dust. Hey, I mean, if you get under the car for as much as I've been and working on that thing, there's a lot of rust particles and stuff. You don't know how that got there. That might have been the Ice Age when it came across from, but it was still on the other side of the
Pangea.
It was from the other side of the country, so yeah, maybe it came through the Ice Age over there. But but okay, so actually, I know you want to talk about the Jaguar.
Oh yes. So
if we're talking about the EV market bottoming out,
if anyone is at all even slightly knows about cars, they know about the Jaguar rebrand and how massively it flopped, how terrible it went. Like Jaguar, they weren't a majorly successful company to begin with. I mean, they were for like a while.
Yeah.
And like they had occasionally a good car here and there. Like they had the Jaguar crossovers and but I didn't see the crossover was the first sign to me of death. And then Jaguar is going out. And then they rebranded to pink boxes.
I know.
And I was like, oh, geez, what have you guys done? You guys could have brought back the XJ220 or X. Yeah.
Yeah. They were also such a cool, like, they were known as like a James Bond. They had a whole ad campaign the year before. It was just last year when they did the Jaguar change. But before that, they had just released this like really cool James Bondy sort of like dude in a suit in a helicopter that's like, I don't always go on missions, but when I do, I take a Jag. Like that. But it was a cool, like, it's a spy car. And then they changed it from a really cool spy car to these really dumb, ugly looking electric cars, which I can't understand.
Yeah, like, I mean, so I actually looked at their sales, like where their sales have gone, and like, or where, you know, so Jaguar, they sold like 1,000, like 1,200 cars to, I can't remember if it was, I think it was per year or per month or something like that. I can't remember.
Something like that? Okay.
It was somewhere around there. They were selling 12, I remember it was 1,200 was the number. I can't remember for the time period, like how long. But, and then after the rebrand, they sold 20.
Well, that's
20 cars.
That's insane.
20. Well, that's like private builder. Like that's like small car, like, private kit car.
Yeah. Oh, like, we need to next week. We need to talk about. I'm blanking on the name. They have their English company. We'll talk about that later. That's building these kit cars that are awesome. That like 3-wheeled kit cars that are classified as motorcycles. Not Morgan.
It's
anyway.
I know what you're talking about. It's powered by a motorcycle engine.
Yeah, but anything that every time I see something like that where they switch to electric or something, especially with a luxury car, like even Audi that's doing that, I don't understand. You think that like the people that are buying these cars are go to restaurants where they're having to scan the QR code and like tapping on their iPad, this is no, they want. There's a part of like being human that people want
the chunky dials. They want the chunky buttons.
Dials. They want to hear the engine.
Yes,
like that's a big part about driving. They want to hear the engine. They want to feel the road. They don't want to just tap some. All right,
I've driven both the 4.2 liter V8 engines that Audi made in their bigger sedans, as well as their more like electric hybrid models. Oh, there's no comparison. Yes, the electric's a little quicker. Do I care? No.
Yeah.
There's the sound of the engine.
But that's sort of like and that's why we were talking about Tesla drivers before. There's a lot of people that grew up and since they were 16, now especially. I mean, I remember when we were younger, it was a weird thing to see a Tesla on the road. Yeah. It was interesting, and then now they're
everywhere, and they're just they're mass-produced pieces of plastic.
But people that drive that don't understand what creep is in cars.
Oh no,
there's people that because they don't have any.
Funny,
lift your foot off the gas, and nothing happens.
I had to drive my friend's Tesla.
Yeah,
and it was like, this is so weird. Like there's
I let
off the brake.
Yeah,
and then
it's like driving a golf cart.
It's literally just an overpowered golf cart.
And all you do is you let off your foot and it automatically starts braking for you.
Yeah,
it's just like you don't have to brake. And I'm like, okay,
this is stupid. I'm like, this is really stupid. So because like when I would put my foot on the gas and like I would try to feel like, okay, is it still braking or am I actually okay? I'm going now. I'm just can't figure out like how much throttle to give it to not die, but also like to not be stopped in traffic.
But also, it's really odd to me to just lift your foot off and then have that brake. I like to have at least the way I drive, you lift your foot off for a little bit, you coast, and then you get back, especially on freeways. Okay, going, coasting for a little bit. If you get over 70, 75, and then you get down, and then all right, go again.
It's also that the braking feature that Tesla has, it forces you to use cruise control on any longer distance.
Really?
Because I wouldn't want to keep my foot there for the whole time. Actually, I don't have a problem with it because I drive a Beetle with no cruise control. But it's like I don't got a problem with it.
Forward no cruise control.
But like, I know. The person I sold it to, she was like, "Oh shoot, I don't have to keep my foot on the gas like constantly," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty nice."
Well, you could do the old school cruise control. It's just a stick or a rod that's about a foot or two long.
Oh yeah, stick it up and
jam it in between the seat and the
seat and the gas pedal. Yep.
And hope that you're not going too fast.
And then hope that like no one breaks in front of you and just be like, "Oh shit!"
If you get pulled over, just tell the state patrol. Oh no, it was this cruise control. It wasn't me. I wasn't doing it.
It wasn't me.
I said it. It's fine.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean it's doing?
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, I also what was that? That was about we kind of talked about like how Jaguars just absolutely dropped.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, also, I'm sorry. This is kind of going off on a little random spot. That bike you got last week, it was it was free, but
yeah,
I mean,
a free bike. I'm not going to complain about that. It is a sort of motorized bicycle, hybrid bike, and motorcycle, if I can say that.
Yeah, it's
I've been in. The first day, Monday before the show last week, both of us were taking it apart, sort of stripping it, seeing what it needs, and it needs a new throttle cable for one. So
Yeah.
I was looking. I was like, okay, universal throttle cable, not going to be hard to find. Go into a parts store, went into O'Reilly's and asked for it, and they looked at me like I was speaking Japanese.
Oh
They're
yeah,
like,
what are you talking about? We were
about?
in there and we
But
were like,
that was different part.
Oh yeah,
because we didn't know about throttle cable.
We did ask about it, and the person who answered us, she was kind of like,
Yeah, but then I called Del Amo Motorsports in Garden Grove, which is right off the freeway. And so they must have it. They're a motorcycle shop. They got to have it.
Yeah.
No, we only carry specialized parts. so what's the? And then I had to. Call. I went to Home Depot. They didn't have it, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
went to like lawnmower stores, and they just have specialized ones for John Deere, anything, which isn't the type that I'm looking for. And I called a couple other motorcycle shops, and they're like, "No, we don't have it. No, we don't have it." Went to a bike store, and in LA, and they go, "Oh, go to Cycle Gear, which is specialized, like sort of like O'Reilly's, but specific for motorcycles."
Yeah.
And
so
they
you
didn't
were
have
just
it either.
you were
They
just
said,
hunting.
well, they're like, okay, we can order it, but it's not going to get here till Wednesday, and I'm already going to be down here in OC. So I eventually ordered it online from eBay, and then they're going up because my sister's actually looking at Chapman on Friday. So I'm going to have my family bring it up, the cable for that.
Oh,
but
good.
Even then, what's really annoying is that I couldn't get it in person. I'm one that I'd prefer to spend a little bit more money and get something in person, especially from a smaller store. I like that. But had to get it. And then I check the order confirmation from eBay, and the place is in Anaheim. So, like, right next to us. So I got to call them today and see if they're willing to have me just go pick it up from there.
Can I grab it? Yeah.
But yeah, well, actually, before we end, I know we're close to time. Do you want to just go? No price limit. You have all the money in the world.
Oh,
You're richer than
we got a little question in. It was about if you had both of us, it was a good question.
Yeah.
If we had no price limit and all the money in the world, dream car. I have an answer right off the bat, but I want to hear yours. And I have a very specific answer, and it's going to make my family laugh.
No price. I mean, it really depends. Obviously. Ferrari 250.
Oh yeah, Ferrari. Yeah,
that's gotta
be. That's impossible.
Impossible to find.
But it's still
no price limit.
No price limit. Oh,
but for something that I'd say, changing the question a little bit, because no price limit, I'm going to pick the impossible ones to find.
Mm-hmm.
But a car that I would drive, that's still in drivable fashion, that's not extremely expensive. I mean, they can get up to $75,000. They're still a sports car, but I'm big into French cars. Alpine A310, Alpine A310 is a sporty car. Their badge is Renault, unfortunately, but they're really, really cool. They look like they're from the late 70s, and they look right out of the 70s.
They do. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I got to say, my answer would definitely be a 1982 Porsche 911
really?
Targa.
Ooh.
Black on black on black. And people will hate me for people will hate me for the Targa, but here's the thing. I love the Targa top.
Yeah.
I love the Targa top. It's like it's not a convertible, but it's also a convertible at the same time, and it's got the style of the hard top.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's why I'm always upset about modern cars. They're just styles going. And Porsche, the 911 is one of the things that they have the black on black style is just a really sleek look for the Porsches. But aside from that, all the now you go down the street, all the cars are black, gray, white. And those are the only three that you see. So any classic that my classic's blue and white. So it's a big, if you drive a classic, you got to make a statement,
Yeah.
But we got a couple questions.
We keep getting more questions.
We'll have to make a cute. Text our Instagram.
Text our Instagram, and we'll make a list of all the questions. We're at time right now, so we gotta get
out of the studio. I see the new everyone coming, but. Thank you, everyone, sending questions. Please make sure to text our Instagram. Do you want to read that out?
Yes, our Instagram. All right. Sorry, I need to. It is Rev and Rant. REVN Rant _radio.
On Instagram. And we just give us ideas, any topic you want us to talk about, any possible guests you'd like to have on the show. We'll try our best to get there. We might be going over to Cruising for a Cure this weekend, so any questions you'd like to ask people there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
We're going to start us back off with
Car Guy Classic.
Car Guy Classic. Oh, yeah. Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart. Anyway, here we are.